Welcome back, and now I have the great pleasure of introducing Ryan Kittredge, who has become very close to me. How are you, Ryan?
Doing great, Christina. How are you?
And let's qualify that, okay? The reason why you've become really close to me is because I bought my life insurance from you.
You did?
That's great. And you are with Richard Carr Associates?
That's correct, right.
Great.
Park Avenue, Worcester.
And what do you specifically do besides sell life insurance?
So we are full financial planners. So we have a team of 3 CFPs, or certified financial planners. I'm one of them. Rich is the other, and then we have Andrea. And we do everything soup to nuts financial planning, advice on some tax issues, estate planning concerns, asset management, retirement planning, and insurance.
That's great. And you're part of the umbrella or associated with TJ Woods Insurance.
That's right, exactly. So we're technically a DBA. So Rich works along with Jack and Walter, and together they own the agency. Jack Woods and Walter Conlin do the insurance, so they're the insurance guys. Yeah. And then Rich started up the financial services division about 25 years ago.
Wow.
They were friends from Holy Cross.
A hop, skip, and a jump.
Right, exactly.
That's great.
Rich likes to tell me I was still in diapers when he started it.
I have a family, and I just felt very responsible to get life insurance. I own a home, and you know, God forbid something ever happens, and nobody ever plans it. And I said, oh, I'm too young for life insurance. But you know, when you have a responsibility, when should someone come and see you and talk to you about life insurance?
Sure. So really, earlier the better. Like we talked about, you got a little kick out of the saying, I think if you owe somebody or you love somebody, then there's a purpose for life insurance.
Oh, that's a pretty good slogan. If you owe someone or you love someone, get insurance. That's
to cover debts, and also for income replacement. So if you have somebody, children, or even say a special needs adult son or aging parents who are financially dependent on you, then it might be something to consider.
Yeah, it's just responsible. And then I find it just amazing that many of my peers don't even have insurance. And what are you waiting for? Really, seriously. To me, I just felt like there was just a safety net there. Right,
definitely. And you know, the other thing is, it's like with all insurance, you really need to start planning for it before you actually need it. So, you know, after you've had a real health scare, isn't really the time to consider it, because your rates will be much higher. You'll end up paying a lot more. So the earlier is the better. You'll never be younger than you are today. So it's a good time to start ahead of time before you actually may need it.
Great. And so in reference to your financial services, when do people usually come to see you?
So it's at different points, so we have a pretty wide array of clients, but I'd say most of them are pre-retirees to people into the retirement phase of their life. So usually 5 to 10 years out from your anticipated retirement date is a good time to really meet with a financial planner if you haven't already done so.
And that's because you're going to be on a fixed income, and you want to know that if you have a pension or some money put aside, or what you can do in order to plan.
Exactly, right. People are used to working and spending what they need to from their paycheck, saving what's remaining. But once they make that transition into retirement, then it's a whole new set of concerns about, you know, what do I have coming in, like you said, on a fixed guaranteed basis, and then what's my shortfall in terms of my need on a monthly basis for income, and then how do you supplement that, from what sources, what's the tax impact? Do you take it from cash versus a mutual fund account or stocks? So there's a lot of questions that come up at that time.
Well, it's interesting because my brother worked for a major telecom company for many, many years, and he just is taking an early retirement because he is going to make more money retiring now than keeping his salary going and taking a retirement later, where there might be higher interests, where they might whittle away at his retirement.
Sure.
So someone like him would come and see your organization, right?
Definitely. You know, not everybody, I mean, they have normal retirement age from Social Security's standpoint, between 65 and 67, but people's retirement goals could be anywhere from retiring at age 45 or 50 if you're so fortunate to be able to do that financially, or people who maybe don't ever want to really retire per se, but they just want to not have to earn income and be able to scale back and maybe work on their own terms.
That's great. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and so a lot of times there's cash flow crunches, and so how would you help entrepreneurs or self-employed individuals?
Sure. So that's another big segment in addition to retirees is small business owners, I'd say is our second biggest component of our clientele. And obviously there's a lot of concerns, uncertainty, a lot of different issues. So for instance, just regarding life insurance, if someone's in partnership and they have a partner or multiple partners in the business, then oftentimes they should consider a buy-sell agreement. If something were to happen to one of the partners, how is their family compensated without really having to come into the picture and maybe run a business that they don't have the training for. So they're able to have cash available to be sort of bought out, and they receive the cash settlement or windfall from the life insurance proceeds where the other partners can then divide the shares of the business. So, I mean, that's one thing, but also setting up retirement plans for themselves and their employees. Budgeting is tougher for small business owners because of the fluctuations in income. So a lot of concerns there, different.
And with the economic crunch that we suffered in the last few years, and there's cash flow crunch for everybody. We're trying to borrow from Paul to pay Peter. What I wanted to share personally in reference to myself is that life insurance is not that expensive, and I feel very comfortable that what I'm going to leave my children, if something ever, God forbid, happened to me, that, and it's not that expensive, and it is an investment in an umbrella for, and I mean, mandatory, we have to insure our cars and our homes, so why don't we insure ourselves?
Exactly, and it's because it's not mandatory that a lot of people sort of push it to the back burner. And, I'm already paying enough for insurance. Well, it's very different.
But we're worth it. We're even much more valuable than a car or a home.
Definitely. When you think of, people will say, if I ask them, what do you consider to be your biggest asset? The most common response is, oh, my home or my business. Well, in actuality, a lot of times it's the income that individual is producing. If you're 40 years old, making $100,000 a year, I mean, that's $2.5 million that you'll earn by age 65.
And not just the income, we are the most valuable in the world.
Definitely, I'm the financial guy, so I think
of course,
numbers.
you're going to think, and I've got my psychic show, so I think a little bit more spiritually, but thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And again, I wanted to bring you in because I think that's a topic that we have to constantly address.
Definitely.
Thanks
so thanks for having me on.
Say hi to Richard.
All right, will do. Thank you.
And we'll be right back.